All right, chemistry, we're going to do the formula of an ionic compound lab. So I've got 7 test tubes. These test tubes are just little glass test tubes. They're roughly the same diameter. They came from the same batch. I've washed them out, so they're just clean test tubes right now. And I've got my copper 2 chloride, so CuCl2. And I've got my sodium phosphate, Na3PO4. Now these solutions I've just dissolved the chemical, okay, the salt, into water. They're both 0.1 molar, and we'll talk more about molar in Unit 6. So I've made these already, and I'm going to go through the procedure, so you guys will complete the analysis. So procedure step 1 says label the 7 test tubes, so I've got those. This is just a waste test tube. This was my little trial test tube just to make sure I'd mixed the chemicals correctly. Number 2 says get 2 pipettes. I've already got my pipettes ready to go. Okay. Step 3, fill 1 pipette with the copper chloride solution and record the color of the solution in the data table. So here's copper 2 chloride. It's a nice blue color, right? So here we go. According to the data table, I'm just going to put in 3, 6, 12, 15, 18, 24, and 27 drops. So starting with 1, it's 3. And just to make sure I've got air bubbles out, there's my waste beaker. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Number 2 is going to be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 3 is going to be 12. 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. Number 4 is 15. Here we go. Number 5 is 18. Number 6 is 24. Number 7 is 27. All right. So now I'm on to the sodium phosphate. This is step 5. I've got it filled with 0.1 molar sodium phosphate, and then I'm going to add the appropriate number of drops, so 27 in the first. Then 24. Then we're to 18. Then we're to 15. And we're to 12, 6, and 3. Okay. Now we're to number 7. It says just use a clean stirring rod and use these splints and just stir them. Okay, and then I'm going to leave it in there just to make sure I'm not losing any of my precipitate. I'll show you what a precipitate looks like in a second. Okay, so you guys can see when you add these two solutions together, you kind of get this solid forming. It's a cloudy solid. It's going to all settle down to the bottom. So precipitate, and let me just show you the full reaction. Precipitation is like means to fall out of the sky, right? Or to fall out. So here, I'll give you a good demo. Here's sodium phosphate. When I add in copper chloride, you can see that precipitate. The precipitate is the solid forming on top, the blue solid. Okay, and I can kind of swirl it in. And given time, it's going to settle because it is solid particles of copper phosphate, okay, that are forming, and those solids, right, fall out of solution and will settle on the bottom. Okay, so it says to let things settle for 15 minutes. Okay, 10 to 15 minutes. So I'll set my timer and I'll be back with you in a second.